Okay. Just gonna pull up. Okay, there's still some people coming in. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining in today. Okay, so let's get going. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Tony. Thank you for being here. Today, we're going to talk about the craniosacral therapy certification hybrid program at Eiko Setsuko. And yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm going to do a little explanation of what the program is. And then if there's any questions at the end, we'll have some time for that. All right. So let's go ahead. So first of all, who am I? Who is Tony? All right, so I am a certified massage therapist. I am a yoga and bodywork instructor. I work with a lot of the bodywork for over a decade, maybe even almost 2 decades now. All right, almost. I do, my approaches are mainly craniosacral therapy, visceral manipulation, neural manipulation, emotional release, myofascial release, and brain therapy. So that has been my practice for a while now. I treat the body as a whole, and I work with I look at the biomechanics of the body and able to look at the body from different angles. And if you are interested to check more about what I do, there is my website, tonybodywork.com. All right, I would love to know all your backgrounds, but there's many of you. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys, hopefully in the certification program. So here we are. So what is craniosacral therapy? Craniosacral therapy. I'm not sure if you guys had any treatment in the past, osteopathic treatments, but basically it's a very gentle, non-invasive technique that can help with central nervous system. The central nervous system is something that connects to pretty much everything in the body. And that will help eliminate any negative effects such as stress, anxiety, help us boost our immune system, overall health. I find this has changed my practice completely. I always go with what the cranial rhythm is saying, listening to the body, and creating more harmony within there. Okay, and gotten great results. So what can craniosacral treat? These are just a list of some things that I've treated in the past: headaches, migraines, stress, anxiety, cognitive issues, any kind of learning disabilities, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, trauma, depression, speech issues, hearing loss, vision issues, vertigo, balancing issues, emotional issues, any concussions, post-concussions, TBI, traumatic brain injury, sinuses, sinus issues, post-surgery, pretty much any imbalances within the body on any level, form of the physical, emotional, mental, even on a cellular level. So pretty much anything, because the central nervous system pretty much connects with everything in the body. If that doesn't work, then the rest of the body is going to have a hard time. So imagine yourself like a computer. When you're not working, what do? You press the escape button, you press the reset button. Pretty much this is what we're doing. We're doing that reset button to boost the system to function again. So an idea. So our program, it's a hybrid program, a mix between an online and in-person. We started with the hybrid based because of the pandemic, and it works really well. But we're also including the in-person practice hands-on also. So we're going to there are 4 main levels. So the first level, we're going to explore the anatomy of the craniosacral system, how it affects the different body, different system. And we're going to learn how to evaluate the whole body through subtle listening, cranial rhythm, and how to bring the body back into balance. So a great overview of the craniosacral system for level 1. Level 2, we're going to go in deeper. We're going to take all the concepts we learned from level 1, and now we're going to access the motility of the bones. Motility is the natural movement of the bones, physiological movements. And then we're going to have an access what we call the intracranial system. So inside the brain of how things starts to flow to bring more balance there. Okay, how to access into the inside of the cranial system, which is quite fascinating. And then in level 3, we're going to go even deeper. We're going to look for any kind of stuck energy cysts. So what energy cysts are things that are stagnant in the body, energetic cysts that are not moving with the body, that can be caused by any physical trauma, emotional trauma, mental trauma. Any kind of imbalance can cause stagnation within the body. So we're going to look and scan for those energy cysts and learn how to treat them. And we're going to look at different lesion patterns, how the cranium, so if there's any imbalance within the cranial bones, that's going to affect the body. So we're going to look how to create more balance there and how to look at patterns through trauma. Like I said, could be through physical trauma, emotional trauma, stress, that can create an imbalance, and how to bring that back. We're going to look at self-help intracranial techniques. So a lot of avenue of expression, jaw work. We tend to clench our teeth a lot, and kind of inside intraoral work, we're going to look at that. And then level 4, my favorite, we can look at the emotional aspect of it. So we're going to learn how to dialogue with the body, but on a non-conscious level. So we're going to use everything we've learned from level 1, level 2, level 3, and then build up into working with any kind of traumatic past experiences, could be on a physical level, emotional, and bring the body back to well-being. So we can have stuck emotions in our body. I'm sure all of us have some kind of emotions, or we know someone that might have that. So the more we can allow the body to come back to its natural well-being, the more the body can start to function at its best. Okay, so these are the main 4 levels that we're going to look at. So the 4 levels, what it is 7.5 hours of Zoom online. So let's say level 1 per se. For example, we're going to do from 9 to 5:30 online. Okay, so we're going to talk about the theory, and you're going to do a practical part either on yourself, or you're going to have someone to work on. I find it's a great opportunity to do self-work on that, which we don't do much of, right? We like to treat others, but sometimes there's great ways to treat ourselves, and we're the ones that need the work also, right? So we're gonna have, so let's say for example, level 1, 7.5 hours, so it would be 9 to 5:30. And then we will have a in-person clinic. So we're gonna apply everything that we've learned online in a supervised practical clinic where I'll be guiding you guys through that. So even if you don't get the theory practical, it's okay. There's going to be that practical supervised clinic. Okay, and you'll be working on each other, so you'll know how it feels on that. So that's going to happen for each level, except for level 4. There's going to be an additional day. So there's going to be a half day, 3 hours. It's going to be a evening, probably on an evening, where I'm going to talk about more theory. And then we'll have 2 full days, weekends on the integration of the emotion waves. So that is a little bit more elaborate, more intense. So I want to take that time to really go through that process, that journey, because it's quite special to experience that. And we are dealing with emotions, so it's not that quick, right? So we want to be able to process that in a nice, gentle fashion, and answer as many questions as we can throughout that day. So the level 4 will be 2.5 days. The prerequisite will be physiology class, specifically the nervous system and the fascial system. That could be viewed live, or we can send you a recording. Okay, so that will be 3 hours of each of that. So you can do it just these classes a la carte, total of 69 hours. If that is something you want to dip your feet into, that is an option, right? So here would be just doing the 4 levels. So level 1, it would be a whole body assessment. Level 2, intracranial and sinuses. Level 3 would be avenue of expression. So our facial expression, our anything within the jaw, intraoral work, self work, and then the emotional release would be level 4. Okay. Now, let's say if you want to invest a little bit more time, a little bit more into this program itself, we are offering this amazing program. It's a 200-hour certification program. So I'm not sure who here is already a massage therapist, body worker. You can add that to your existing association, or you want to start with doing that as your modality. That could be an option. So what does 200-hour certification program consist of? Again, of that prerequisite of the 3 hours of the nervous system and 3 hours of the fascia system. I personally like to do live as much as we can. Of course, sometimes due to schedule, we cannot, right? The great thing about technology is we can watch the recording. If you can watch it live, that's great because I can answer your questions. There's more interaction there, okay? But we can work around that. So the level 1 to 4, again, online, 9 to 5:30, and the in-person 9 to 5:30, the supervised clinic. Now, what you're getting more from that 200-hour program now is you get a mentorship call for each level. So once a month after we've done the theory part, we'll have a mentorship call evening where you can ask your questions. There's your chance to ask anything that you need more clarification. We will doing those Zoom calls for each of those levels. We'll also have forum group discussions. So we'll form a chat platform where we can have discussions on base of our findings, our practice. And even after you've done the whole program, you have complex situations with clients, you can ask that and I will be there to answer your questions for. So that is something very valuable. You'll have home practice protocols to do. So from level 1 to 3, you'll have to do 10 of those each of the practice, and those will be documented. So it's for your practice to really get familiar and comfortable with the technique. Practice makes perfect, and the more you do it, the more you're more confident in the technique itself. And then for the level 4, you'll have to do 5 of those home practices. Okay, so those will be submitted in as one of your assignments. There'll be written exams. Those are take-home exams where you have time to really research and really take the time to really understand that. So that's for each level, you'll have an exam, written exam. That's a take-home. And then for levels 1 to 3, you'll have a techniques exam. Techniques exam where you'll be one-on-one. We can even do it on Zoom or in person, where you would demonstrate the techniques on someone and I would give you the feedback, right? So that would be the techniques exam. Then we have a journaling of the self-emotional release. So after level 4, you're going to have to do a journaling of that journey itself. And then we'll have a group discussion on the emotional release experience, which is quite valuable, in my opinion. And then you have a research paper where you can go dive deeper into a pathology of your choice, and you're going to treat someone with that, and you're going to see what kind of findings you have. And then we're going to have the business of craniosacral therapy, how to run a business doing craniosacral therapy. And then how to do charting and making links. That is another course that will be online. And then you'll have a whole guided review day that would be in person, a whole day of just review, putting things together and getting that feedback, that supervision. And then we have a clinical application day where we have real life clients that come in, and then through supervision guidance, and we can work together and to see how you would treat real life cases. Okay. So this would be the 200-hour program itself. It's a lot more extensive, but you do get the value of getting supervised, getting the feedback, getting involved, and really getting comfortable with the modality, which I find with this work, it's so subtle that it's really hard sometimes to, on your own, you're like, am I doing it right? I'm not sure. Am I getting the right feedback? So I think this would be a great, if this is something that you want to proceed as your main modality or even part of your modality, and you really get good at it, I find this would be a good way to do it. Okay. So that is the 200-hour certification program. All right, so why should I consider this certification program? So we can look at Charlie Brown. Why should I do this? First of all, you're getting an in-depth supervision and guidance, not just in person, but through the mentorship calls, through the guided reviews. All that is just helping you in your training for the 6-7 months that that the program is. You get that hands-on practice and guidance, those mentorship calls, dive in deeper into the technique and the theory. You'll see the way I teach, I'm very biomechanics, so I'll explain why we're doing it, what are we doing, what is the physiological component of it. So the more you understand, the more you can help your clients or even yourself or family, friends more effectively, right? You'll gain more confidence, more in treating clients with complex cases, sharing experiences with other like-minded therapists in the program. You get to have access to that forum discussions, access to, oh, this is great, you have access to any review online. So during that program, as long as you're doing the program, you can go back and review the online classes at any time you want. So that's the perks of technology, where you can really go back and review, like, okay, I want to go back to level 1 just to clarify some things. There is, it's there for you. And then you can have more an enhancing learning experience, become more confident, enriching your learning process, and to challenge yourself. Why not? Challenge yourself and really get good at something and start to have some self-discovery, discover something about yourself and become a more well-rounded practitioner. And most importantly, it's a lot of fun. Right. So here I did a little chart just to give you an idea if you decide to go through the program or the individual classes. So if you are interested, you can also contact the school. We can send you this chart. So here you can see level 1 to 4, you have the online and the in-person, the physiological nervous system and fascia, that's included. If you want to do that, that can be added on, right? So this is a la carte, right? If you want to do more a la carte. The mentorship program, it would be $10 per level. It's included in the program. The business class, that's online, that could be added. Forum discussions are only for the certification program students. Clinical application also for the certification. So all these self-evaluation tools here, documented practice, theoretical exams, practical exams, final paper. I find these are a great way to help us perfect, to really help us perfect the technique, because you're challenging yourself, right? It's not just, oh, let's just learn the technique one weekend, that's it. It's really building it and building and learning it. I want you to look at it that way, because I know sometimes people see exams like, oh no, I don't want to do exams. Don't stress about it. It's really how to build yourself. And I'm here to guide you to help to be the best you can at this kind of work. And I find the best way is to challenge yourself and study. And really study, right? You are dealing with people's health. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You are dealing with people's health, and people that are coming to you and that you are charging them, they're expecting you to have a certain level of education and And this would be a great way to show, hey, I put the effort in and I'm confident in treating whatever I can, or to say, I don't have the ability to treat that and I'm confident also. And here, as we continue, you have that journaling of the emotional journey. This is great. You have access to the theory during the program. And as a gift, you'll have access to the recording 1 year after the completion. So you can always come back to it afterwards, okay, for a year. So that's a great way to go back. And you have guided reviews and the clinical application day, which is a great way to blend everything together with the supervision of the teacher. Okay, so all that is 200 hours, and then there you go. And if you sign up today, you'll get a 10% discount. You have up to a week, right? So whatever your choice is, we will work around it, just to showing you if you do certification program compared to a la carte, just what you get out of it. Okay, here's a tentative schedule. Once you are signed up for the program, we will send you a complete schedule for all the exam dates, the clinical dates. The most important day is the first class will start on August 20th. Most classes will be on a Saturday or a Sunday. The online classes will be on a Saturday. The in-person class will be either on a Saturday or Sunday, depending on the availability of the studio. The Zoom calls, the mentorship calls will most likely be on a Thursday evening, 6 to 8. Yeah, so if you're interested, let us know and we will send you the full schedule. But just to, for now, make a note that the first class will be starting August 20th and then followed by the clinic August 28th. Okay, and then we have the level 2 will be October 15th, and then the clinic October 22nd, level 3. So this is just the 4 levels, and then we'll send if you are registered for the certification program, we'll send you the entire schedule so you can start to plan on that. So just to give you an idea, starting August 20, we'll finish around March. That would be the gauge about that. Okay, so it's not every weekend, it's once a month on Saturday, or once a month on the online, and then once a month on the in person. So every second weekend around, right? And then we'll have mentorship calls and forums. So it's a nice process to go through for the next, nice journey just to sink into that. And yeah, so that is the tentative schedule. So what happens when you decide to do the program and then I want to go further? And that's what I did with my own career of craniosacral. I went further, and I want to bring that to you guys. There's so much more, right? We have 200 hours, but 200 hours is really not a lot of time to be a craniosacral therapist. So here is a little diagram of what else we can to look at. Okay, so there's a little chart. If you're dealing with a lot of people with chronic stress, let's say, right? That could be something that you want to build on, or you want to look at cranial nerves, okay? And then, or deeper into the brain, I want to work into the brain. Or if I want to go into more emotional, at least we can talk to immune cells, we can look at vibrations at frequency, we can look at the nervous system from different angles, we can look at pediatrics if that's something that interests you, or even just mastering dialoguing with the body. There's more and more. I keep updating this every time I teach a class. I'm like, oh, I can bring that in. I can bring that in. And it just builds and builds. And I want to provide that for you guys to just help keep building. I find with this career, with any body work, it's really building yourself further and further and further and further. And never ends. I've been doing this for almost 2 decades now. And I love it every day. And I keep building. I'm still doing courses. I'm still doing training. But now I'm going deeper into really the brain, the nerves, and more specific. Yeah. And yeah, I want to bring it to you guys because I find it's so helpful, and my practice has changed completely. I work with a lot of people with a lot of traumatic stress, especially after the pandemic, loss of smell, even people with vision issues. It's so deep, but it's so rewarding just to see the difference that you can make in this practice. Okay, so that is that. So I found this very interesting, where tell me, I'll forget, show me, I'll remember, involve me, I'll understand. And that's what I would like to do, is to involve you guys so you start to understand. All right, that was quick. Any questions?
Are there any contraindications?
Contraindications? Yeah, so anyone with any intracranial pressure, like aneurysm, right, you want to avoid, especially during the acute phase, but after the post phase, it's okay. Yeah, so any kind of intracranial pressure that's acute, you want to avoid. But pretty much it's pretty safe. We work under the radar, really helping the body. Right. Good.
I just have a question about the possibility of viewing online classes later. Some of the online classes, because I'll already be doing classes at the studio, I'll actually be there doing another training. And so is it possible to just receive the recordings to watch the online portions of the different levels?
But not doing the
and then
in-person?
and then to come in person. I think the in-person dates work for me, but just looking quickly, it seemed like a couple of the online dates were not going to work. And so I'm just wondering if that's even.
Well, yeah, definitely. So I think the most important thing is the in-person dates, because you have to be in person. But the online, yeah, we can definitely. We'll probably, if you are in a certification program, we'll have the Google Classroom where everything will be posted there. So after I've taught a class, let's say on that, and you're unable to go, you can go the next day and it's posted there already. So everything will be posted there. Or we will, if you are, let's say I'm only interested in doing the level 1 to 4, I can do the in-person, but I can do the online. We'll send you a temporary link for the online class.
Okay.
You can watch that before the, preferably if you can watch the class before the in-person class, but that's not a problem, yeah.
Yes, okay, that's amazing. And then just another question is, the prerequisite, is that going to be offered before the August class, the physiology and the cranial nerves class? Or the fascia class?
The fascia class. I am teaching that now. I just taught it on Monday, but it's recorded.
Okay.
So you can definitely, we can send you the link and you can watch that. If you prefer to do it online, because it goes in conjunction with the physiological and pathology program of the Swedish. So we're inviting the craniosacral people to watch that portion, because I find it so important to know what the nervous system is and the fascia system is. But we will have that recording, and so depending on the schedule, when it happens in September, you could either watch it live. If not, there is the recording that we can send, no problem.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right, so Desiree, this question, inflamed lymph node behind the ears. Do you want to elaborate on that, Desiree? Can we treat that? Is that your question, or? Oh, is it a contraindication? We'll find ways to work around it. Okay, when there is inflammation, we best want to avoid that certain area, but I'll show you different techniques to work off body. Which is great. Yeah, we always find ways around that. Even let's say back to the question earlier, can you, the aneurysm and intracranial, I might not be able to work on the head, but I can work off body, and we'll learn different techniques on that too, because it's affecting the rest of the body also, right? Yeah. Right.
So it seems like a lot of people are doing this as a complement to their massage practice, but if you don't have any body work experience, maybe I was a yoga teacher for a while, but like people are sometimes taking this for their personal interest, or like it's probably better to have some kind of like, because the 3 hours for the fascia, like the prerequisite, that will be enough to be able to do the hands-on stuff, or would you recommend a little more experience in body work?
The reason why I created it is for people who are interested in this modality. I mean, if you are in massage therapy, that's great, but it's so different that I find that some people might find it might be helpful, but some people might be like, this is something that's up my alley where it might not be necessary. It really depending on the person itself. But no, you don't require any kind of body work before. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah. Sometimes I find it even helps a little bit more because you're starting fresh and clean opposed to mixing sometimes. But
like guitar players and ukulele, they don't always do ukulele well.
Exactly. I've had people in Swedish like, how do I blend that in? How do I blend that in?
Right.
And at the beginning of my practice, I was finding ways to blend in. And then the more and more I did the practice, like I stopped doing Swedish because this was more effective for me. And this is all I do as my technique now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So everyone's different, but I am building it where it can be both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome. Any other questions?
Yes. How long is gonna take? For example, if you take a massage therapist, it's around 1 hour. What about this therapy? It takes 1 hour to 45 minutes, or it depends on the case? I mean, sorry, it depends on the customer.
The sessions, how long are usually the sessions with the clients?
Yes. Yes.
My sessions with clients are usually an hour or an hour and a half, but I find more and more I do more 1 hour now. Yeah. Depending how you market yourself. Yeah, I find I do 1 hour in my sessions now. Yeah. What we're going to do as we do in the program, you're going to see we'll probably do more an hour and a half just to get familiar with it. Right? It might take a little bit more time at the beginning. Right? We're all new, and it's very subtle, right? It's not like Swedish, let's say. It's a more subtle technique. It takes more time to get used to it. So in our practices, you might find you might be going into an hour and a half, even 2 hours, and time flies by very fast, right? But as you start to evolve and to apply this into your practice, are you a therapist now?
I am a massage therapist student.
Student? Okay. Doing what modality? Yes.
What do you mean modality?
What modality are you learning now?
Swedish?
Swedish? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really how you want to market yourself at the end of the day. Are you working for someone? If you're working for someone, you're limited in time also, right? It's like either hour slots, an hour and a half, but you're working for yourself, you have a little bit more time. Also the clients, what can they afford? Can they afford more an hour and a half? Right? So you have to look at different factors, but usually between an hour and a half I would gauge that in the sessions. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
Actually, I have one more question because I've never had that. I've tried to get a craniosacral massage, but it was not a success. I'm like really interested in it, but do you have, like, are you offered, I might have just been stalking you and I think you're booked or something, but on your website, but do you have people you can recommend to like try it out? Like
you can contact me. I haven't put my
okay.
schedule online,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
definitely you can
Okay.
contact me if you want to experience it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Cool.
Yeah, and then we can schedule something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do recommend everyone to try it at least once before going into
Yeah.
the program, so just to know what it is, right? Yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Mhm. And it's a very subtle technique. And you might feel, some people are very sensitive and they might feel like they feel right away. And some people are like, I don't feel anything. What are you doing? Right. And it's the way I want to train you guys is able to communicate with your client what you're feeling, right? The worst thing is you're doing something, you feel all that, and you have no idea what you're feeling, and your client says, I don't feel anything. So I'm giving you that background, that training, that physiological training of what's happening to the cerebrospinal fluid, what's happening as you make that shift there, what is happening under your hands. So you can start to communicate with your clients opposed to, I don't know, something's happening, right? And yeah, so the more confident you are in this work, the more you can treat your client, the more you get the results too, and your client starts to understand what's happening. Yeah, as we get deeper and deeper and deeper, especially when we go into the emotional release, they're like, why is this coming up? And you know, it's something where we're going very, very deep, and past trauma stuff might come up, and how to support that, and how to support your client, and even support yourself in doing that journey too. Yeah. So I find this program is not just a program, it's a self-discovery journey. You're going to learn so much about yourself and your own stuff that's coming up and why it's coming up, and realize like, I need treatment for myself, and you know we need to treat ourselves before we treat others, right? And that's why, Jenny and I agree that this is such a great opportunity to bring this to the public. And this is what we're faced with, a lot of people with stress and trauma that don't know how to deal with it, and they can come to you, right? And I would say 95% of my practice now is dealing with people with trauma, anxiety, and stress, and there's so many things there, right? I used to work in a spa and doing more relaxation massage, and it was great for that time being, but I felt that with this technique, I was drawing in more people that want deeper help, and yeah, and I love it. Yeah, it made me humble because it wasn't even about the technique or the client feeling good. And like, it doesn't matter. It's really about how the body is allowing me to connect to that, and and how fascinating the body is. And the body is a self-corrective mechanism, and I'm just sitting there for the ride and facilitate. I'm not fixing it. I'm facilitating with the body, so the body can heal on its own. That's the main thing. That's the beauty of this work, is like, let's sit back and just listen and just help facilitate that process, opposed to let's fix. How many times I have my clients, how many sessions till I'm fixed? And I'm like, well, how much time do you have, right? There's always layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. But the more we start to listen, we're going to do a lot of different listening techniques and how to tune into the body. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions?
When you treat the client, do you use any kind of gel, oil, or any other cream, or just the hands and the training? I mean, nothing additional, Tony?
No gel. It's with our hands, but a lot of with your intention. And I've had a lot of students that have done Swedish, and you can combine that, right? You can combine craniosacral with that. Like, let's say you do a whole session and you end with a cranial session, and I guarantee you, your clients will say, "What did you do at the end?" I fell asleep right there. There's something you did at the end because you are going deep into that parasympathetic, right? But yeah, it's an osteopathic technique with no oil. It can be done on clothing. I'm even doing now through distant now. I'm doing training on doing distant work. So you can even do it from far away. So I was treated by someone when I was doing my training. I was working with someone in Sweden. So I felt everything, he felt everything there because we are connected through energy. So once we tune into that frequency. All right, good. Any other questions?
Just a thought, is it possible to start with the first level and then decide whether to add the certification? But start a la carte and then bolster it. I imagine you'd want to make a decision after the first level, but is there a way to kind of try it out first to see?
The only thing I would say is you'll be missing out on the mentorship calls because we go by module, right? If you're doing all form, like, oh, I just missed out on all the mentorship calls and all the application of that, right? For now, our schedule is August 20th to about March. And you know that the school is not very big, so we're fighting for that space, right? That's the only concern that I might have. It's just you might be missing out on the building of it, right?
Right.
But let's say you're interested in only doing the 4 levels for now, and you're okay waiting till next year, right? The following year, that could be a possibility too. But just to let you know that there are some people that are doing the program now that decided to do the 4 program. Most of them are switching to the certification because they see how valuable it is and how much that personal touch added to it, that supervision really helps them in that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the accountability to maintain your practice as well.
And sometimes when you do all 4 and you wait till the following year and then you have to restart again, it might be a little bit difficult to transition. But you know,
I wonder if it would be possible to just do like the first level and after August 28th, like make the decision then.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Each course is $300. Okay. You can do the level 1, 2, 3, 4, just those if you want, and then and decide. Like I mentioned, it's more the scheduling that's the issue. But the courses, you can definitely take that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. We will make it work somehow.
Yes, exactly. That's wonderful.
And if there's a problem with payment, you can always call the school. There's payment plans that they're very flexible, and Jenny's great to help you with that. So you can definitely contact them for any kind of payment issues, plans that you. Yeah, I'm very excited that this is starting. Any other questions? All right, if there's no question, shall we do a little guided meditation with our craniosacral system? All right, so let's do it. So find a nice, comfortable seated position. You can lie down if you like to. So you can close your eyes. And just allow the breath to start to settle. Try not to change the breath, just let the breath start to change on its own. So we're going to bring our awareness to our craniosacral system. So it doesn't matter if you know what it is or don't know what it is, your body knows. Your body knows where it is. So tune into your craniosacral system. So pretty much the brain, the spinal cord, and everything that surrounds it. Just take a moment just to feel and connect with that. So we'll start with connecting with all the bony structures around our cranium. So imagine the bones of the cranium, from the front of the head to the back of the head, to the side of the head. All that structure is protecting the brain. And see if you can notice an area that might be a little stuck. And can you bring a direction of energy? Just imagine bringing energy towards that area, however it seems for you. So from the front of the head to the back of the head, the top of the head, the side of the head, and even towards the front of the face, all those facial bones, the jaw. And then bring your focus now down the spine, where the spinal cord is, so it's protected by that cervical spine, thoracic spine, the lumbar spine, all the way to the sacrum. So notice the spine, notice if there's an area that feels stuck, you can bring some direction of energy towards there. So I want you to imagine all the bones is in optimal health and well-being. As we bring our attention a little bit deeper now, inside the bone, there is layers of fascia, connective tissue. So imagine the brain is protected by this connective tissue, and also all the way the spinal cord is protected by this connective tissue called the meninges. There are 3 layers. So imagine there's 3 layers of connective tissue surrounding the brain and the spinal cord, called the dura mater, the arachnoid mater, and the pia mater. So again, it doesn't matter if you know what it is, the body knows. Imagine the brain and the spinal cord is enveloped around this beautiful connective tissue. See if you notice if there's an area that might be stuck, not moving. Can you bring some direction of energy towards there to allow more flow, more movement? And you can imagine the connective tissue is in optimal health, well-being, and vitality. So now I want you to imagine water, fluid like water that is flowing inside where the brain and the spinal cord is floating. So it's called the cerebrospinal fluid. So our brain and spinal cord is flowing in this beautiful fluid called cerebrospinal fluid. You should imagine that. Tune into the waters of where the brain and spinal cord is cleansing, cleaning, floating. And see if you can bring the awareness of the water to pick up any toxins or anything that doesn't belong there and start to flush it out of the system. So imagine that water, cerebrospinal fluid. Imagine the water being in optimal health, well-being, and vitality. So now let's bring everything together. Imagine that whole craniosacral system from the bony structures of the cranium, the vertebrae, the sacrum, to that underlying wrapping of that connective tissue, the dura mater, the pia mater, the arachnoid matter, and that fluid flowing cerebrospinal fluid. Imagine all that is flowing in harmony up and down the spine, around the brain, for optimal health, well-being, and vitality. Now through our breath, we're going to change the dynamic of that cerebrospinal fluid. So as you're inhaling, I want you to imagine going all the way down to your sit bones. Inhale, hold your breath, all your sit bones to the perineum. Hold your belly, hold your chest, hold all the way to the top of your head. And once you're there, you release the breath, release the top of the head, release the throat, release the chest, release the abdomen, and release the sit bones. So we're going to do that another couple of times. At this time, I want you to imagine the pumping of that fluid up and down the spine, cleaning out our central nervous system. As we inhale, hold into your sit bones, hold your belly, hold your chest, hold your throat, hold the top of the head, hold that fluid and let it flush down. Release the head, release the throat, release the chest, release the belly, release the sit bones. So it allows you guys to do that on your own for a couple cycles. Really imagine creating that pumping motion up and down the spine, cleansing your central nervous system. All the way to the top of the head, hold the breath and then release all the way back down. Connect to the spine, connect to that brain, spinal cord, pumping that fluid up and down. And so again, imagine your entire craniosacral system is in optimal health, well-being, and vitality. So when you're ready, take your time, no rush, start to come back to your body. Good. How do you guys feel? Anyone want to share their sensations and what they felt or didn't feel? So this is a visualization of your entire craniosacral system, right? So it's good to cleanse out our central nervous system, and it's a lot of this work is that intention. So remember the question of like, do we use our hand to use it? Or a lot of it is our hands, but how can we connect to all those layers? You can see, we're connecting to bones, and also we're connecting to connective tissue. We're connecting to fluid, and we're connecting to brain, spinal cord. It's all through intention, right? The deeper we go, the more is intention. I want to think that I'm feeling water. And as we go deeper into the practice, can I feel the brain? Can I feel parts of the brain? Can I feel parts of the spinal cord? Can I feel nerves, right? Now I can feel the areas where there might be stuck, there might be stagnant. And can I send a little energy there to help the body to boost it up so it can come back to its self-healing mechanism? That is what it's meant to do, self-healing. And just doing the meditation ourselves, we're turning on that light switch already of how the body can reset itself. It's our conscious mind that kind of blocks our way of, is this real? Is this happening? It's real because we're sending those neurotransmitter pathways to that area to start that process. Yeah. And that's where we're going to be learning. And if you guys are interested, I do give a free meditation on Sundays on Zoom, 5 to 7, and we do these different visualizations. You can also check me on Toning Bodywork on Facebook, and you can find a link there. So if that is something that interests you, every Sunday, 5 to 6, I give these different visualizations of the body, healing the body. So it's called Self-Healing Warriors, because we are self-healing beings, and we just need the right kind of channel for ourselves, or sometimes through the help of a therapist. But it comes from within. And with this work, we give the power back to the person that their body is self-healing and they can do it. Great. Awesome. Right. Any other questions, comments?
When you have a customer or client in front of you, before touching the person, can you feel the unbalanced energy?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Your
Okay, I'm gonna try. Let me increase the volume here. When you have the client in front of you without touching him or her yet, can you feel his or her unbalanced energy?
Yeah.
And then based on that, you can start balance him or her. Okay. Got it. Got it.
We're going to learn different listening techniques, general listening techniques, specific techniques, and where there's imbalance, what's causing the imbalance, what are the links. Yeah. I mean, I don't even have to be in front of that person now. I can even connect them. I connect to the person in Sweden, right? So we're all connected through energy. And if you can connect to that channel, you can listen to anything. but I will guide you guys and show you the ropes of that. And it takes time, but you know, it's, yeah, that's why we build level by level by level. Yeah, we'll get there. And it's a good, even if you decide this might not be something, a technique that is your main practice, if you're doing Swedish, that's fine. It's also a great evaluative tool to hear, to listen to where there is an imbalance, let's say, right? Where is the body off on another level, right? Because that's what we're looking for. You can use that as in conjunction with that. Good. Any other questions before we sign off? Good. Awesome. So, but if there's any questions, you can contact the school, you can contact Jenny. Yeah, we have all the information there for you. If you are interested, you have a 10% discount if you register by this week, and you can contact Jenny for that. You were part of the info session, and you will get a 10% discount for the registration if you are interested for the full certification program. Okay, and we start August 20th. It would be my honor to have you guys and work with you guys. And yeah, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me or contact Jenny, so she'll forward to me. Yeah. My pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah. And if yeah, if you're interested on Sundays for the meditations, you are welcome. It's free. You're welcome to join. Awesome. Right then, and that's it for now. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.